This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin FREAKIN.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol, live. It is a freaking Thursday. And I probably said that with more enthusiasm than anyone has ever uttered those words before. When I walk into a workplace, what day is it? Ah, it's a freaking Thursday. Welcome to the show. Jam-packed as it is. We got so much to talk about. You are never going to hear me say these words again, but Ted Cruz had a good idea. We're going to talk about that. About this time last year, a girl dominated a boys wrestling tournament. The WWE is producing a documentary about it. We're going to watch the bout because it's kind of relevant with all the bills coming up about assigned gender at birth in sports. What's really happening is that right-wingers are indulging in cancel culture. Concerts are coming back, but that might not include Eminem. And are universities hostile? Ted is horrible, that's what I'm saying. It's a once-in-a-lifetime occurrence. Ted Cruz had a good idea, and I think the Democrats should call his bluff. You're going to have to stick around and find out what it is. That's called a tease, ladies and gentlemen. Because you're sitting there wondering to yourself, what in the fuck could Ted Cruz have possibly done that was considered a good idea? The words good idea and Ted Cruz don't belong in the same sentence. I'm with you, my big bear, but I promise you, it's just because Ted Cruz is stupid and stuck his foot in his mouth. Plus so much more. Your tax dollars at work currently. The Senate is debating the American Rescue Plan Act. That is the $1.9 trillion bill proposed by the Biden administration, passed by the House. Currently, they are reading it in its entirety at the behest of Senator Ron Johnson.
Secretary of the Treasury. B, payroll support grants. 1, in general, the Secretary shall make...
Literally just reading the bill. This is expected to take hours.
Exclusively for the continuation of payment of employee wages.
They started this sometime this afternoon.
Eligible air carriers in an aggregate.
The Senate is not going to recess. They are planning to do a marathon session.
Contractors in an aggregate amount of $1
They are going to read this bill in its entirety. They're expecting the reading to take about a day, so probably around midday tomorrow, they will finish reading the bill.
No later than April 15th.
At that time, 20 hours of debate
Secretary shall apportion
will
funds
occur.
Available under paragraph 1A to each eligible air carrier in the ratio that 1.
Once that
the amount
debate
paid by the air
is
carrier
wrapped
pursuant to
up,
Section
apparently
403A
there is a
of the
rapid fire amendment session
2021, Public Law 116.
with a vote expected sometime
$15 million.
sometime on Saturday. Now they are running out of time. We are going to talk about that here in just a little bit. All the programs that are getting ready to expire in just a couple of weeks.
Consolidated Appropriations Act
Less than a couple of weeks.
Public Law 116-263.
So the Democrats have wasted a good amount of time getting to this point,
provide financial assistance to an eligible
but are trying to bring it on
or
home.
eligible contractor under this section in the same form and on the same
Ooh. So we might stream some of the debate on Saturday. Today, the Biden administration announced their plan to turn migrant detention facilities into Ellis Island-style processing hubs. President Biden plans to transform a contentious element of the U.S. immigration system, converting family detention centers in South Texas into Ellis Island-style rapid processing hubs that will screen migrant parents and children with the goal of releasing them into the United States within 72 hours according to a new report from the Washington Post. The shift in policy comes amid a surge at the southern border. In January, U.S. authorities arrested or detained 78,000 migrants crossing from Mexico, more than double the amount from a year earlier. In late February, the New York Times reported, in the last week, the Border Patrol intercepted more than 2,000 young migrants traveling without adults, most of them in their teens, but some as young as 6. There is widespread concern that their numbers in the coming months could break the record set in May 2019, when 11,000 underage migrants were encountered by Border Patrol. Biden's new policy, which has been unannounced, is designed... I'm sorry, I correct myself. I thought they announced it. This is actually reporting from the Washington Post. Biden's new policy, which has been unannounced, is designed to process migrants without detaining them for long periods of time. The Washington Post reports that 2 family detention centers in Texas will serve as quick release intake centers and would screen migrant families, check their backgrounds, and release them pending an immigration court hearing. So Biden is definitely feeling the pressure from the left heating up. These things don't leak without some encouragement from the administration. Reporters want to keep their contacts happy, so they're not going to report on anything that they weren't encouraged to report on. So if something leaks, this is Biden wanting to quell the uproar that he's been hearing over his immigration policies and saying, "Don't worry, we're gonna do something about it. Here, let me leak a few of the details of my plan, kind of assuage your criticism." Could be too little, too late. The left is already getting up in arms with you, President Biden. The honeymoon is over for sure. Man who's not having a honeymoon right now.
Yeah, Leslie, and court rule.
The Capitol rioter who stormed into Nancy Pelosi's office and stole her mail. Richard Barnett was photographed with his feet on House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's desk and allegedly had a stun gun during the events of January 6th. Let's hear the local news report on this.
Rules prohibit us from recording what went on today. So
there aren't cameras and recording devices aren't allowed in federal courtrooms. That is something that blew my mind 15 years ago when I was doing news. Because oftentimes there aren't really interesting cases coming through the federal courts. But every few months they have something that's like, this is juicy. Like this case here, we would love to be able to show you some video. But unfortunately, recording devices aren't allowed in federal courtrooms, but reporters are, so... I'm assuming he's getting ready to give us a first-hand account.
It for you, but let me try to break it down for you because it was pretty interesting. Barnett is facing a whole mess of federal charges, one of them a felony accused of violently storming the Capitol, breaking into Speaker Pelosi's office, and not just propping his feet up on her desk, but also stealing some of her mail on his way out the door. Barnett is being held in a federal detention center in D.C. awaiting trial, and he's pleaded not guilty. A judge has already denied his attorney's request to set bond for Barnett. Prosecutors citing Barnett was allegedly armed during all this, but during what was supposed to be a fairly routine status hearing today, Barnett lashed out at his continued detention after
I bet he did. Fucking snowflake.
Quote, "I've been here a long time. Make me sit here for another month when everyone else is getting out." Prosecution.
Whoa. Been here for a long time. That was January the 6th. He was probably arrested, what, week or two after? He has not been there for a long. Some people sit in jail for years awaiting trial, sir.
prosecution keeps dragging this out. They're letting everyone else out. Everyone else has worse charges than me, is already home. Now, here's what Barnett is referring to.
I find that hard to believe.
As Capitol riot cases move forward, judges are being forced to consider whether or not to set bond for the accused, giving them a chance to be released before trial. As we reported earlier this week, alleged members of the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers are all asking for bond to be set to allow for their pretrial release. In fact, just yesterday, a judge ordered the release of alleged Proud Boy member Ethan Nordine. Legal experts tell us if the defendant's attorney can make the case, they are not.
Now, I did see Enrique Terrio posting about his brother being free.
A flight risk or a danger to the community. It is the judge's constitutional duty to grant them bond. Unfairly holding a defendant before trial is not a legal form of punishment. That only comes after their day in court. In Barnett's case, his attorneys finally agreed to the May court status hearing date, but also mentioned to the judge that they were going to repetition to try and get him out of jail before trial. Guys, we are now up to 300 total defendants charged from more than 40 states for the insurrection on January 6th. Guys?
Damn. I didn't know it was over 300. Last I heard it was over 250. That was earlier this week. But Barnett thinks it's unfair. God, these right-wingers are such fucking snowflakes.
I solemnly swear.
You don't leave.
That I will support and defend.
That I will support and defend. You don't leave somebody locked up pending trial simply because the public thinks they deserve it. Fuck yeah, getting vaccinated on Sunday. Oh, I'm glad you just happened to bring up the story that we have coming up next. Mitch McConnell is up to something in the state of Kentucky. Is Mitch McConnell sick? We had the incident last year where he was like turning all weird colors and shit. He had bruises around his mouth. His eyes were all discolored, and his hand looked like a fucking zombie hand. Does Mitch McConnell have some sort of health issue that he has been hiding from the public? Or is he starting to feel the pressure from the IG report that we talked about last night? How his wife could be facing possible jail time. Little from column A, a little from column B. Which is it? But something is going on. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell has compiled a short list of successors in his home state of Kentucky, preparing for the possibility that he does not serve out his full term. This is according to Kentucky Republicans talking to The Intercept. Could just be his soul trying to return to his body. The list is topped by his protege, State Attorney General Daniel Cameron of Breonna Taylor fame. Megan Thee Stallion shouted out Daniel Cameron on SNL. I could see Mitch McConnell doing some bare knuckle boxing, but you say it looks like he had labs drawn, but like the entire hand? His entire hand, his face was discolored, his eyes were like sunken in and shit. Now he is looking a little bitter. I will give him that. Now he doesn't look good. Man, never looked good. I met him like 16 years ago. He didn't look good then. Looked like he could die any fucking minute. The list also includes former United Nations Ambassador Kelly Craft, whose billionaire coal magnate husband is a major McConnell donor, as well as Kentucky Secretary of State Michael Adams, a former McConnell scholar. Under current law, the power to appoint McConnell's replacement falls to Democratic Governor Andy Beshear, but New legislation McConnell was pushing in the Kentucky General Assembly would strip the governor of that power and put it in the hands of the state GOP. McConnell's scramble to secure his legacy comes as his position in the party he effectively built from the ground up is increasingly shaky. Now that's another thing that I didn't even bring up. His positioning in opposition to the Trump wing of the Republican Party. Could McConnell be just looking at an amalgamation of multiple different things and he's playing chess like, I need to get this done now? A candidate running in McConnell's mold would face an uphill climb through a primary in the new Republican Party unless, that is, the candidate has the benefit of incumbency. The 79-year-old McConnell has held his Senate seat since 1985. The new legislation, Senate Bill 228, dubbed by some inside the state legislature as the Daniel Cameron Election Bill, was filed on February 10th during the Kentucky General Assembly's 30-day short session. The bill alters current state statute that allows the governor to appoint a replacement in the event of a vacancy to the U.S. Senate. If the bill becomes law, the appointment to fill a vacancy will be selected from a list of 3 names submitted by the state executive committee of the same political party as the senator who held the vacant seat. I've never even heard of a fucking state doing that. Like, it's usually the governor. I think sometimes it's like the legislator that picks the replacement. Or there's a law that states there has to be like a special election within like a month or 2 or something. According to the bill, the appointee from that list will then serve until a successor has been elected by voters. The legislation goes on to list instructions on when elections take place in the event of a vacancy. Republicans are concerned a successor appointed by Bashir would be someone of Bashir's own party. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the way it works. Republicans are always trying to change the rules when they benefit them. Republican State Senator Tom Buford, the single co-sponsor on the bill brought by Kentucky State Senate President Robert Stivers, said there has been a discussion for several years about changing the way Kentucky replaces U.S. senators. I'm sure it's been a discussion for years. And not something that we're wanting to fast track now. Sounds plausible.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
What do you think, Stivers? You think we're stupid? You think we're fools? The old folks bruise easily. Okay, I think I saw this yesterday and I wanted to touch on it. Apparently, Texas, the other day when they had the ice freeze over, a week or 2 ago. If you have watched this show for any amount of time, you know that I have no concept of time. Everything was the other day to me. I'm sorry. Shit that happened when I was like fucking 12 was the other day to me. But whenever Texas had its deep freeze, I think a couple of weeks ago, they were apparently 3 minutes from going totally offline. Comanche Peak Nuke came within 3 minutes of emergency shutoff, taking another 2,600. I don't know what MW means. Texas came a hair's breadth from a catastrophe that makes what happened look like a day at the beach. The hearings in the Texas legislature about the power crisis revealed a number of previously unknown issues that power plants faced during the blackout. A Wall Street Journal reporter noted that the most shocking thing said in the hearing was that the Comanche Peak nuclear power plant outside of Fort Worth was 3 minutes from going completely offline. Such a shutoff would take another 2,600 megawatts offline. While Republicans spent their time blasting renewable energy sources as reliable, Bloomberg News noted the executives from Vistra Corp revealed we came dangerously close to losing the system. Vistra's Morgan said that despite having 90% of plants available to run, we just couldn't get the gas. And do you think Texas is going to do anything about it this time? This is going to be the third time that this has happened. And they've had major blackouts as a result of an ice storm. And I doubt they're going to do anything about it this time. It's going to be just like 2011 when they were warned that it could happen again. And it's probably going to happen more frequently and be worse each time. Okay, so this Sunday, WWE is releasing their first documentary that they've produced that has nothing to do with professional wrestling. This one is about amateur wrestling. I saw the story because it was like the year anniversary. This happened about a year ago. And this is relevant because there are a hell of a lot of bills going through state houses right now about targeting transgender people in sports. But these bills would essentially stop this young lady from being able to do what she did, which was fucking dominate a bunch of guys in the North Carolina State Wrestling Championship. Let's watch her make history.
Raise your hand. There you go. Ready, you talk. You talk.
Now, I saw several people in the comments be like, "Oh, they let her win. They don't want to. They won't be the asshole that got beat by or that beat a girl." But I mean, she kicking his ass. He's definitely got skill. Republicans would like to cancel this young lady's opportunity to be able to come out and beat the shit out of some guys. (2020) North Carolina State Wrestling Champion Evan Fitch. Happened on February 20th, 2020. Evan Fitch would have been robbed of the championship had any of the 13 anti-trans sports bills being considered across the country been enacted in North Carolina at the moment. The Republicans who are handed these boilerplate bills, once again, ALEC, crafted by hate groups, have a tightrope to walk when they fine-tune them. They can't specifically exclude transgender girls, so it has to be a wider swath of humanity. Most of the anti-trans sports bills limit the participation of all student athletes boys and girls alike, to the sex that is indicated on their original birth certificate. Evan Fitch would not have had her glorious victory had she lived in Montana, Mississippi, Georgia, South Dakota, Tennessee, Arizona, Missouri, North Dakota, Connecticut, Utah, New Hampshire, or Oklahoma. That is, if any of these bills are signed into law by Republican governors. The bills have already passed their state houses. I don't know what the answer is. I mean, clearly the girl beat all the boys' asses. I was told that overall, women are faster than men, so in track, I mean, is it just that men are scared to fucking participate with women? I don't know. I acknowledge that it's a tricky subject. And that seems to be what the right-wingers are focusing on. Just because everybody can kind of understand the issue there. But in order to compete in like a combat sport, though, you have to be on fucking estrogen. Like, for a man to compete, I don't even want to try. I don't even want to try on this one. Overall, I don't care about sports. So it's not a big deal to me, but I understand that some people are very sensitive about sports. I don't know what the issue. I don't know what the compromise is. But I mean, we saw a woman play for Vanderbilt as a kicker. So I mean, okay, so they're constantly bashing trans people and talking about how inferior and mental disorders, the mental disorders that trans people have. So why are you scared to compete against them in sports then? The logic doesn't make sense to me. But I mean, it's not like you can logic with right-wingers anyway. They are fucking morons. Yeah, I'm not a big sports fan. I am a music fan. I'm a concert goer. And concerts are coming back. This piece from Loudwire talking about Mississippi joining Texas in allowing full capacity concerts. Here in Alabama, our governor announced today that the mask mandate goes until April 5th, and she doesn't want to extend it beyond that. That's the absolute last day. And we already have the, after those announcements and with the new restrictions, concerts have been announced. I can go see Travis fucking Tritt on April the 24th if I wanted to. I'm not going. As of Wednesday, March the 3rd, Mississippi has joined Texas in lifting all coronavirus-related mask mandates and allowing businesses in those states to reopen fully. This also means live concerts and festivals can return at 100% capacity in Mississippi and Texas this month. But is it too soon? While COVID-19 case numbers have dropped across the U.S. and vaccinations are ramping up, the pandemic is not over yet. Local officials and public health experts in both states have urged residents to continue wearing masks and practice social distancing. Still, that didn't stop Governor of Texas, Governor of Mississippi, Tate Reeves, from issuing a proclamation this week that reopens his jurisdiction with no government-imposed virus restrictions. Health experts and concert promoters had previously surmised that full-capacity concerts likely wouldn't return until fall 2021 or 2022. But the lead singer of Stryper isn't so much worried about concerts being canceled. No. He's worried that the Bible will be canceled. Stryper's Michael Sweet suggests the Bible will eventually be canceled. First they came for Dr. Seuss. Now they're coming for Sweet Jesus. Sweet weighed in online with his concern about cancel culture and wondering if it might someday include canceling the Bible, the collection of religious texts and scriptures held sacred to Christianity. The band has long been at the forefront of Christian rock, and Sweet recently shared his concerns on Twitter, offering the following comment. We've been handing out Bibles for almost 40 years. For the first time in my life, I'm asking myself this question. I wonder how long it will be before this book is canceled. I know it may seem like a silly thought, because it is. But it's really not. It's just a matter of time. Frightening. Right-wingers are fucking morons. The comment drew quite a bit of response, both backing Sweet's narrative and calling out the musician for fear-mongering. One of his Twitter followers pointed out one of the constitutional reasons why the Bible will not go away, stating, the Bible could never be canceled. The U.S. Constitution protects all things related to religion, all religions. This is fear-mongering. I'm proudly a Christian, and I know the Constitution protects my rights to worship. I don't know how he's a Christian. He has demonstrated that he knows how to think. But another commenter offered, other countries have banned Bibles, so it's not a stretch to think someone could try in the USA. Christianity has been slowly canceled for years, starting with an exaggerated interpretation of church and state, which removes school prayer, firehouse crosses, etc. These people, Christians have been trying to cancel shit in this country since the beginning of this country. Go back and read about the Puritans, the Satanic Panic of the 80s, the Parental Rights Council, whatever the fuck, that got the labels on CDs. These fucks have been trying to cancel shit for years. That was never cancel culture. But apparently, people being able to respond to you on Twitter and tell you what they think is cancel culture. Not a stretch. Other countries have done it. God damn. Religion is big business. It will never be canceled. Correct. Especially not in our hyper-capitalistic country. But you know who is canceled? Marshall Mathers. Twitter and TikTok users attempt to cancel rapper Eminem. If you've been on Twitter or TikTok lately, you may have noticed Michigan rapper Eminem has been trending. Gen Z Twitter and TikTok users are upset over Eminem's history of lyrics involving themes of violence and domestic abuse. Yeah, he's pretty shitty. One person on Twitter wrote, Eminem is such a bad influence on everyone. How does anyone listen to that old man ranting? I don't think they do anymore. I don't think his albums do well. It is unexplainable to me. He needs to be canceled for all the bad things he said. I love that it was two bads. Bad things he said. He's a bad man. The best way I can explain it to you is that the Marshall Mathers LP is a masterpiece. It will probably end up in like the Library of Congress or the Smithsonian or some shit. But goddamn, it is incredibly problematic. I don't think it was meant to be a go do this kind of thing. But others, like Meghan McCain, are supporting Eminem. Come at me, Z's, wrote McCain on her Twitter page.
Welcome back to Mid-Michigan Now at 5. It's time for our Mobile Minute, and we are talking about this guy right here, Eminem, a native of Michigan, of the Detroit area. Apparently people on
The 8
Twitter
Mile
and TikTok are not
spaghetti.
too fond of him. They are trying to, quote, cancel him. Let's take a look at what people are saying. Take a look at this tweet.
Well, I mean, like, it's not the first time people have tried to cancel Eminem. I lived through the 90s when Eminem first came out. God damn. People have been offended by Eminem since Eminem has been a thing.
Tweet right here from 97.1 The Ticket out of Detroit. They are reporting Gen Zers on Twitter and TikTok are trying to cancel Eminem over his violent and sexist lyrics. Now, someone called...
I do not like the idea, like, just, like, this omnipresent, like, these Gen Zers on Twitter. People on Twitter are not like a group. They're not like something like, oh, people on Twitter said this. This is like a fucking news station. Knows if they do a story about, 1, canceling somebody, 2, about Eminem, who is a local celebrity, that they will get clicks and they will get shared online. That's all this fucking is. I mean, it's all I'm fucking doing with my show, too. I'm able to call it out so well because I employ the exact same techniques on my content. Gen Z is fucking cool. The kids are all right, ma'am. Maybe not your kid, but like the kids are all right. I'm sorry, that was low. My apologies. I hate this they on Twitter bullshit. Oh, the people on Twitter said some shit. Fucking Twitter isn't the world. Twitter is not representative of fucking anybody. What the fuck? There are plenty of bots on Twitter. There are plenty of trolls that don't even believe the shit they're saying. So I don't fucking trust Twitter about anything.
Tweeted out, Eminem is such a bad influence on everyone. How does
I mean, he is a fucking bad influence.
He's my agent, but hey, I'm an old man, I guess. How does anyone listen to that old man ranting? They say it is unexplainable.
But I mean, it's not music for kids.
Bad things he said. The next tweet here pokes fun at all of this, saying Eminem is getting canceled for the 100th time. And finally, Meghan McCain, she is on The View, outspoken on many issues.
And for the love of God, Eminem has made a fucking career of being edgy. I know what that's like too. He fucking wants you to fucking talk about how you're gonna cancel him. This is the most relevant Eminem has been, and he just dropped a fucking album not that long ago. I hate late stage capitalism. It makes people do stupid shit. Like the stupidest fucking Karen to ever walk the face of the earth. She berated a guy at a fucking Starbucks. The internet took sympathy on him and raised some money. Now she's suing. Because of course she is.
About a San Diego barista named Lennon went viral. Lennon had asked a customer, Amber Giles, to wear a mask. She then posted a photo of him on Facebook saying, quote, "Meet Lennon from Starbucks who refused to serve me because I'm not wearing a mask. Next time I will wait for cops and bring a medical exemption." Her post was shared publicly hundreds of thousands of
He refused to serve you because you weren't following the rules of the establishment, ma'am. God damn.
times. Many comments in support of the barista. That's when Matt Cowan stepped in.
I wanted to make a $10 tip donation.
He made this GoFundMe.
Thank you, Matt. You were awesome.
Barista, and it blew up. More than $100,000 was raised, and it all went to Lennon.
There is an invasion of privacy aspect here as well, and it's defamatory. And money was raised by him.
Amber's attorney Michael Harrington says he filed the suit against Matt and his company because he used her pictures to make a profit.
She posted pictures of him. She was the one invading his privacy. Sir, you do not have a case. I'm assuming he got his money up front. He is not working on contingency.
Matt says he never involved his company, and she posted the photo publicly.
Everything was done in a philanthropic sense, and I used publicly available information to populate my GoFundMe.
The suit says
that's what I told YouTube about Poop Boy when he got all upset.
Anything in her post that would warrant her being villainized and her life being threatened.
Matt says he should not be penalized for the actions others take.
She made a public Facebook post that went viral, and I am not responsible for whatever anybody else sends to her.
Now, Amber,
there was nothing in that post that she deserves to be villainized over.
And lawyer fees. Matt says he would do it all again because ultimately it benefited the young barista. Leah Pizzetti, ABC 10 News.
Good on him. He'd do it all again despite fucking Karen. Hell yeah, Matt. All right. Are conservatives being discriminated against on college campuses? Newsweek ran this opinion piece. I'm going to read it with you guys right now. This is from Eric Kaufman, professor of politics at Birkbeck College at the University of London. This is interesting. The political landscape in the UK is quite different than here in the US, so I want to automatically say, like, his opinion is tainted. Academic freedom is in trouble in America, Britain, and Canada, according to a new study I conducted on the subject. Okay. While the term cancel culture is often thrown around like a political football, my new report for the Center for the Study of Partisanship and Ideology found quantitative evidence that the ideals of the university to establish a tolerant ethos open to questioning received wisdom is being perverted by political aims. All right. That's your thesis statement. Let's see your supporting evidence. Using 8 surveys of academic and graduate student opinion, eight surveys of academic and graduate student opinion. For 8 surveys. I assume he means 8 different surveys. Not that he handed out 8 to 8 students, I would hope, because that is an incredibly small sample size. It's also based on their opinions on a survey. You've also got to ask, what questions did he ask? We examined the willingness of faculty to cancel controversial academics and to discriminate against political minorities. We also looked at the level of fear among dissenting scholars, and what we found was worrying. While it's normal for those holding minority views to feel a bit uncomfortable, my study found that younger scholars are far more likely to support an intolerant cancel culture that is driving self-censorship and limiting viewpoint diversity in universities. And increasingly, this ethos is moving off campus into other professional organizations, such as tech firms and newsrooms. Sounds like, okay, like, I get accused of this kind of intolerance, and it's because, like, somebody starts saying something I know to be complete and total bullshit. I'm like, no, that's bullshit, and I cut them off. That's what they mean by intolerant. Oh, well, you're just intolerant of other... No, I've heard your bullshit before, and I know it's bullshit. Shut the fuck up. Sorry. Right-wingers are morons. Threats to academic freedom stem from 2 interrelated forces. Threats from management and colleagues for unpopular opinions represent what I call hard authoritarianism, in that the censure is imposed by the institution and the consequences run the gamut from being fired all the way down to being assigned an unpopular course or being shunned by colleagues. The other professors don't like me. Like, I want to say, like, academia is hostile to conservative opinions because conservative opinions are fucking bullshit. Sorry. They don't stand up to that's why you only see people with fucking conservative opinions over in like the business college and shit. People with a well-rounded liberal arts education tend to not be conservative because they're not dumb fucks. So I'm wanting some substance. I'm wanting some supporting evidence, and we've yet to get that. What we found was that another claim that conservative academics take increasing levels of care not to offend those in position of power, like department heads. First of all, it is the exact opposite. At least, like, I went to college in East Tennessee. I understand that is different. All of the so-called conservative faculty were very open about their conservatism or their Christianity. They wore their beliefs on their sleeve, whereas the faculty that I would assume leaned to the left took great care to try to not show their bias. I had a literature teacher like whisper to me that she campaigned for Obama. And I'm like, why'd you whisper that? Look at me. I mean, clearly she looked at me like that's the reason why she felt comfortable to whisper it to me. But yet the conservatives will have fucking Reagan up on their goddamn walls and pray to him 8 times a day. We also found that both hard and soft authoritarianism are pervasive in academia. Once again, 75% of conservative academics in the social sciences and humanities in the U.S. and Britain say their departments are a hostile environment for their beliefs. Once again, conservatives in a academic setting are going to be a minority anyway, a very small minority. So 75% of a very small minority, they've like sampled fucking 10 people. 7.5 of them agreed with this shit. Fully 7 in 10 conservative academics in the social sciences or humanities say that they self-censor. Over 90% of Trump-supporting academics wouldn't feel comfortable sharing their views with a colleague. Yes, Trump is a fucking idiot. If you are a college professor and you tell me that you support Trump, I'm going to look at you and be like, how the fuck are you a college professor? He's an idiot. I just stop trying to gaslight us. It's your shitty views. You're being discriminated against because your views are shitty and you're a fucking moron. And you tried to cram a fucking child rapist down our throats and we had to fucking deal with him for 4 years. It's not because we're intolerant of other ideas, it's because you fucking suck and you're having a profound negative effect on our lives. Sadly, these fears are well-founded despite the fact that he has yet to use any supporting evidence. You surveyed some fucking idiot-ass conservatives on a college campus using a concealed survey technique called a list experiment. I found in an August 2020 survey that 4 in 10 American academics would not hire a known Trump supporter. I wouldn't hire a Trump supporter. That speaks volumes about your fucking judgment. It has nothing to do about discrimination, or I guess it is discrimination. But I would argue it's a positive discrimination. People should discriminate against you. You're an idiot. Meanwhile, 1 in 3 British academics would discriminate against a known Brexit supporter for a job because they're an idiot. There are also social consequences to being outed as conservative. Good. You stupid fuck. or as someone who believes that gender should be defined biologically. I want gender defined biologically. I want you to listen to biologists. That's exactly what I want. Biology doesn't mean your little fucking 4th grade concept that like fucking maskless Moses goes off of. Man has penis, woman has vagina. Yes, the majority of people are born with a penis or a vagina, but nature is very complex, and there are a small percentage of people that are born with no sex organ, both sex organ, fucking clit so small or a clit so big that doctors think it's a penis so small they think it's a fucking clit, gender dysphoria, all kinds of fucking chromosomal issues. Gender is more complicated than your black and white fucking way of thinking. I'm sorry, nature don't give a shit about your notions of gender. You're being discriminated against because you're fucking stupid. Not transgender people, conservatives. Speaking of stupid people, Elon Musk owns a company that employs some smart people. And they put a rocket up in the air yesterday. And that's pretty cool. Now, this was a rocket test. The rocket's going to explode.
9, 8.
But that's cool. It's like a stress test. They're wanting to
4,
put as much
3,
as they can on
2,
it.
1. Ignition. We got liftoff.
They landed it in the spot that they wanted to land it. That was what the test was about. Woo, that was loud. My apologies if I blew your ears out.
Please prepare for section 35, OSC, FC1, LVN.
This happened yesterday afternoon. SpaceX.
Plus 30 seconds, Starship 10 has liftoff. It's headed to 10 kilometers.
We will fast forward a little bit and get to its descent. Check out the cool landing that it made. I guess it's cool. I haven't watched it yet.
Plus 4 minutes and 40 seconds, Starship has transitioned. It's flipped to the horizontal mode, beginning the descent back to the landing zone.
And that's interesting. They're able to like actually keep it level like that. I guess like ballast inside of it. I have no clue how any of this shit works. This is fucking neat. We actually, I live in a city where SpaceX operates. We actually had a space reporter, the last TV station I worked at.
Coming up on 5 minutes.
His content was incredibly interesting.
We're down below 2 kilometers. We're preparing to light 3 Raptor engines to begin the flip sequence. It'll culminate with
the flip sequence
on the landing pad in Boca Chica.
Oh, fucking neat! Fuck, they landed it right where they were supposed to. Hell yeah. Science, bitch. I think it blows up. I'm pretty sure.
Third time's a charm, as the saying goes. We've had a successful soft touchdown on the landing pad. That's capping a beautiful test flight of Starship 10. As a reminder, the key point of today's test flight was to gather the data on controlling the vehicle while re-entering, and we were successful in doing so. We had a nominal ascent. We had the maneuver to place Starship horizontal when we reached 10 kilometers, right on time. And then during the subsonic entry, it appears we had good control of the vehicle using the front and aft flaps. And as we approached the landing pad, we successfully lit the 3 Raptor engines to perform that flip maneuver. And then we shut down 2 of them and landed on the single engine as planned. A beautiful soft landing of Starship on the landing pad at Boca Chica. Also, a congratulations to the Starship team in Texas. They've steadily increased the test launch cadence over the course of the program and have delivered some of the most exciting test flights many of us have seen in a long time. The Texas team has several...
I love this dude's enthusiasm.
...in build, with number 11 ready to roll out to the pad in the very near future. It's an inspiring time for the future of human spaceflight. Thanks for joining us today, and we hope you'll join us for the next test flight of Starship 11.
So did it not blow up? I thought it blew up after it landed. That was cool watching it land though. Yeah, SpaceX Starship lands upright, then explodes in latest test. I wanted to see the explosion. The failure occurred just minutes after SpaceX declared success. 2 previous test flights crash landed in fireballs. It did blow up. It exploded on the landing pad with so much force that it hurled into air. But they're supposed to, like, they're stress testing them. Like, they're supposed to, like, put as much on them as they can. Run them as hot as they can. To see what the limits are. Like, they're purposely trying to make them explode. In a way. But yeah, they successfully landed it. The landing was fucking cool. The shiny bullet-shaped rocket ship remained intact this time at touchdown, prompting the SpaceX commentator to declare 3rd time's a charm. But then the Starship exploded and was tossed into the air before slamming down into the ground in flames. There was no immediate comment from SpaceX on what went wrong, but Musk looked on the bright side in a tweet. Starship 10 landed in one piece. Honorable discharge. That's what I'm trying to find. I want to see it explode. Yes, it just blew up sitting there, but like they... Here we go. Here's the blow up part. Get ready, guys. See, they're into it.
Wow, that wasn't so bad. They put too much water on it.
Oh, did we not get another one? Oh, that's kind of anticlimactic, but still, it was cool. All right, so now on to the boring stuff. As I mentioned earlier, we are currently watching the Senate
1A applies if such paragraph ceases to apply by reason of Clause 1 of subparagraph A.
Read the entire American Rescue Plan Act.
In such time and manner as may be specified by the Secretary of Labor.
Republican Ron Johnson requested that the bill be read in its entirety.
The term assistance eligible individual means with respect to a period of coverage.
You know, they might have just detonated it for shits and giggles. You might be right.
Of this act and ending on September.
And that might be why SpaceX isn't wanting to actually release a statement. But once again, like, that's the way it was explained to me by a real tech nerd. Was like, they run them as hot as they can. They want to see what the limits are and everything. Like, they're expecting them to explode because they are stress tests.
Of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986. Or Section 22.
But SpaceX accomplished what it was wanting to accomplish.
Except for the voluntary termination of such individuals.
So this is the reading of the full 600 and something pages
of election period
of the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan Act.
Section 605A of the Employee Retirement Income Security Act of 19.
Currently being read by the clerk on the floor of the Senate. This is expected to take around 20-something hours. This should end sometime midday tomorrow. Then there's going to be about 20 hours of debate. Poor fucking clerk. I hope they're having multiple clerks read it. It doesn't look like there's many people in the chamber. It's just procedural bullshit, theater by the Republicans. But we should actually get a vote on the stimulus package sometime on Saturday. Could be late into the evening on Saturday. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has sworn that the Senate will stay in session until it passes this legislation. My God, Ron Johnson better be in that fucking chamber right now. I'm going to follow up. He better be there for every fucking minute of that reading. But all right, let's go over some of the things that we're up against here. Democrats taking it down to the wire. Unemployment benefits will expire in 10 days. 10 days. If Congress doesn't pass a stimulus bill, pushing it into next week could indeed delay payment to people. That's not the only thing. Clock is ticking for Congress to get the American Rescue Plan on President Joe Biden's desk by March 14th, the day Americans are set to lose their unemployment benefits. And now that the bill sits in the Senate, many Americans can't afford to see federal aid run out. Republicans in the Senate who oppose the size of the president's stimulus plan have attempted to slow the process down because they're assholes. Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin plans to have clerks read the 600-page bill aloud.
Include an additional written notification to the recipient in clear and understandable language of 1, the availability of premium assistance with respect to such coverage under the subsection, and 2, the option to enroll in different.
She's just kind of mumbling through it like,
eligible individuals.
I don't blame her.
Described in paragraph 3 to elect enrollment in different coverage.
They should have hired me to get up there and read the motherfucker.
Cobra continuation coverage to which the notice provision under such section.
Yep. Obstruct and blame. That was the Republican game plan throughout the entire Obama administration. It could take 10 hours, but the American people deserve to know what's in it. So they're saying 10 hours. Okay, I might be wrong then. So they may be able to actually start debate sometime overnight. The bill the House sent to the Senate included an extension of $400 weekly benefits. Currently, that's $300. The Democrats are upping it by $100. I still think they should have done the $600 like last year. And now it's only going to be through the end of August instead of the end of September, which it was originally. I think I might have actually... Okay, I just meant to mention that. So, a lot of people are worried the Congress recesses in August. because they didn't extend it through September, they only extended it through August. There are several people worried that it's going to end up with a gap. Like, we're not going to recover from the pandemic. Texas is going to come out. It's going to go fucking wild. We're going to get the Brazilian strain, a whole bunch of people. We're going to see another, like, spike or two. And by the time we get to August, things aren't going to be better, and Americans are going to need another extension of unemployment. Congress is going to be in recess, and we're not going to be able to get a bill passed because fucking Democrats said $2,000 out the door. I didn't know out the door meant March fucking 4th. What exactly has Biden done to accomplish to fucking destroy America? That Canadian pipeline employed everybody in the fucking country, apparently. And that one single pipeline that was Canadian that shipped Shell oil to fucking China was responsible for gas prices too. It's insane. Fuck, right-wingers are fucking morons. Although that would cut benefits off a month earlier than Biden had requested without any form of extension, 11.4 million Americans are at risk of losing needed aid. According to a report from the Century Foundation, without a benefits extension, 4 million people in the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program and the Pandemic Emergency Unemployment Compensation Program will see their benefits expire mid-March, and that's another 7.3 million people. The foundation also reported on February 2nd that a delay in extended unemployment aid in December cost unemployed Americans $17 billion in January, stressing the need for a prompt extension this time around. A tax incentive for employers to offer paid sick and family leave will expire on March 31st. Another reason we need to pass this bill, not in this stimulus bill, is another round of Paycheck Protection Program, but I believe they still have funds. Small business pandemic aid is set to expire this month, though. That's what it says. I thought there were still funds left in the PPP. On February 22nd, the president amended the Paycheck Protection Program to ensure equitable access to relief, including the opening of a 2-week period where the smallest businesses can apply for the program, along with eliminating certain restrictions that prevented businesses from receiving aid. However, funds distributed through the PPP are set to expire on March 31st. The small businesses have less than a month before they will no longer be able to receive aid through it. Shit. As far as I know, there is still plenty of money available for that program. So if you run a business and that would help you, do it. I run a business, but I don't have anybody I pay paychecks to, so. By the way, has anybody checked in? Is Donald Trump our president again? It's March 4th. It's Inauguration Day. He's trying to make sure we all have access to vaccines. You can't. These people have been conditioned by Fox News, by OAN, by Newsmax, by Ben Shapiro, the Daily Caller, and Breitbart. They don't get any other information. And it's so wild. Like, I know exactly what you're talking about because I spend so much time in the comment sections on Facebook. I know exactly what the right-wingers are saying right now. I also can't talk. Now, there are some Democrats that are actually fighting for something good. Ron Wyden pushing for automatic payments. A group of Democratic senators sent President Joe Biden a letter on Tuesday outlining a plan to bolster... I can't fucking talk. Of course, they were talking about plastic potatoes and Dr. Seuss. Absolute morons. The effort led by Oregon Senator Ron Wyden calls for recurring stimulus checks and automatic unemployment coverage that would be tied to economic conditions. And that's what other people have been saying all along. That you don't put a hard date on your unemployment extensions. You actually tie it to a certain percentage. Once unemployment dips below like 3%, 6%, whatever. I don't know what a righteous number there would be. They're not ever going to do 3%. Whatever arbitrary percentage they agree on, until it hits that percentage, the unemployment just keeps going. Wyden is a good one. There are so few of them. He said the crisis is far from over and families deserve certainty that they can put food on the table and keep a roof over their heads. That's what I say to all the right-wingers that want to bring up mental health in the pandemic. Yes, I agree with you. People need money to take care of their mental health. Can you imagine how much better mental health would be if people spent their fucking quarantine time buying OnlyFans, playing video games, new consoles came out. I almost had a PlayStation this close again today. I haven't shopped at Walmart in 17 fucking years, but I almost came this close to spending $400 with them for a digital version of the PlayStation 5. They fucked me over. So, Wyden, good on you. It'll never happen. It's a reasonable proposal that would actually help people. So, of course, the centrist Democrats are not going to go for it. Biden is destroying America by canceling the PS5. Yes. There's a lot of people on Twitter and stuff that's like, why is this happening? Sony needs to be investigated. I'm like, there's a semiconductor shortage. It's not just PlayStation. It's a lot of shit. It's actually not Sony's fault. Now, it is Sony's fault for going ahead with their launch in November. They probably should have waited until this year. That you can blame on Sony, but technically it's not their fault. For the PS9, I don't know what you're talking. I haven't watched commercials since I was a kid. Like, I remember Crash Bandicoot commercial. What was the dude? The head of Sony Entertainment, or what, like the blonde guy. They would always be in his office and he had like snarky shit to say. Those are the only PlayStation commercials I remember. Shit that used to come on during wrestling. I'm a real 90s kid. I mean, technically 80s kid. Ted Cruz had a great idea. For once, that's the only time you're ever going to hear me say that. I'm never going to say it again. It's never going to happen again. I can't believe it happened this time. Oh, shit. Might have to watch this commercial. Oh, it's from 1999. I should remember it. That would have been a time when I was watching commercials on the TV. I feel like I know that dude. Is he like... Is he an actor?
PlayStation 9's new electronic spores tap straight into your adrenal.
Did he make it in a show?
PS9 has improved retinal scanning. A mind control system.
A mind control system.
And telepathic personal music.
Sweet.
The ultimate just got better. PlayStation 9. Teleport yours today.
Hell yeah. That's an interesting commercial. from 1999. Like, had they released the PS2? I guess they would have, wouldn't they have? Would have been around 2000, 2001. No? It's like $99.99 was the Dreamcast. I remember that. Okay, so that it would have been PS2. So maybe, yeah, PS2 dropped in around 2000 or something. That commercial's wild. I love it. All right, Ted Cruz pitches federal scholarships for children whose schools are closed. And you know what? If Biden isn't going to do something about education and making sure that everyone has a free education, this gets us closer to it. So good on Ted Cruz. Plans to propose an amendment to President Biden's $1.9 trillion spending bill that would provide federal scholarships and grants to children whose public school is shuttered because of the pandemic. I mean, we're talking about college scholarships, right? Wants to make the grants available to children who live in school districts without available in-person instruction. Why not everybody? Why not everybody? All these kids missed out on this instruction because of the pandemic. Ted Cruz, that's what I want to see a Democrat stand up and do. Ted Cruz, you know, you make a very good point. We should give every child that missed out on this education federal scholarship. The scholarships would be geared toward children whose parents who cannot afford the high cost of private tutors or private school tuition. In many communities throughout the country where public schools are closed because of the coronavirus, private school classrooms have been open since the start of the fall term. Oh, so this, like, I see it as like Ted Cruz is trying to attack public schools with this, right? He's being snarky. No. Democrats, stand up, throw it back in his face. That's what you do. Give you $1 million advice right here. All right, let's check back in on the Senate.
Professional employer organizations or agents under Section 3504. B. Clerical
Yep. They're still reading.
Sections for subchapter B of Chapter 65 of Internal Revenue Code of 1986 is amended by adding.
Just again, let's give you the rundown. About 10 hours of reading this bill, it would seem. Roundabout. Probably end sometime overnight tonight. Morning time. They will begin the 20 hours of debate tomorrow. After the 20 hours of debate, there will be an amendment session. Supposed to be a lightning fast amendment session. So that is probably going to take place sometime on Saturday. I'm going to be here to stream something once we get closer to an actual vote. Oh God, yeah, they try to divert funding from public schools with their voucher programs and their charter schools and yada yada yada. But all right, if you are on Twitch, I'm going to send you over to fucking the crew from Majority Report, Left Reckoning. This is the first time I've seen them on. So I'm going to shoot you guys over to them. And I'm going to hang out with you for a little bit because I love those guys. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin Freakin. We will see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol. Live.